On this episode of Things That Never Happened, we have this from Collider. You're not embarrassing Iron Man. Ironheart gets a blessing from Robert Downey Jr. Now, if you gave me a private jet, I'll say anything. Okay, Robert Downey Jr. reportedly has been paid well over $100 million for Doomsday. From what I'm reading right now, he has been paid a gargantuan amount of money. He's been given a private jet, somehow 24-hour security, and a bunch of other things. So if you gave me all of those things, I will go out today and I would just say anything you want me to. I would go as far as say, yes, Ironheart's going to be the greatest show ever made. So no, even if it did happen, I don't believe for a second it comes from a genuine place of admiration for this woman who's going to be in a show that we all know is going to happen. This is going to be, you know what? I was going to say it's going to be a disaster of a show, though. It's going to be like The Acolyte, I think. A show that is so bad. It's probably gonna be the talk of the internet, just like The Acolyte was, and that's actually why I think The Acolyte should have got a second season. Dare I say, from what Disney said, it was the second most watched thing on the streaming network. So yeah, even though it was a terrible show, and I'm not here to defend The Acolyte whatsoever, but it was a show that people talked about, and it was one of the most watched shows of the year. But back to Ironheart. I think it's going to be on par, potentially, with that. Where it's going to be so bad, so woke, so disconnected from reality, that it's going to bring in people, at least to watch it purely to laugh at it. Or it's just going to generate massive amounts of Twitter traffic or Facebook traffic or anything like that. So here's a quote from the actress. What's her name? Dominique Thorne. What does it matter? You're never gonna see this woman again. What does it matter what her name is? So she had this to say about Robert Downey Jr. Apparently he was there, and she said Robert Downey Jr. and I spoke right after we wrapped, and he shared some of his lovely words about my journey. What exactly is your journey, woman? What exactly what ridiculous journey do you possibly have that Robert Downey Jr. is taking notes about your life and telling you like, "Oh yeah, we lovely words about my journey." You auditioned for a role, you got it purely based on your race. Marvel said, "You know what? Screw it. We're okay with losing money because we want to get good boy points online from people that are not going to be watching our show whatsoever." That's what they're doing. How crazy is that? That all these places decide, yes, we're going to go down the path of diversity and inclusion and equity and all that garbage right there because we want to look socially great online. We're going to burn through hundreds of millions of dollars. We ain't ever going to see this character again. Like, can you imagine? Like, the Young Avengers, is that actually still happening? That should not be happening. They have lost so much. Saying so much money is probably an understatement because they just imagine they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these shows. No one's watching them. It's all money, and already Disney Plus is a black hole. Already, Disney Plus is nothing but a black hole of money for them. But what the idea is of what it should have been founded on, especially with these shows, is that you make the show and it ties into the movie. So yeah, you might lose. Let's just say $100 million. Just they made an Ironheart TV show and it lost a lot of money because obviously it's not a theater release. But the idea would be you take her into the movies. You bring in the fan base that watch the TV show. They go to the theaters. They spend the money, and you're back to making billions of dollars again. But that's not happening. That's not happening at all. You wasted Oscar Isaacs to do what with him? Nothing. You wasted WandaVision to go into Multiverse of Madness. Granted, it made money because that's when Marvel fans were like, okay, we'll give this a shot. When I walked out of Multiverse of Madness after the movie was over, I said that is the last time I'm going to see a Marvel movie in theaters ever again. It was such a garbage movie. But also, what else did WandaVision establish? We're gonna get a Vision Quest TV show. Who cares? It was years ago. We're talking about. I'm just looking at the date right now. It's been about 5 years since that show came out. And you're telling me there's an interest in Vision? No. No, there isn't. Also, that's a very confusing show, too. I have no idea how pretend fabricated Vision. Why couldn't she just make another one? It doesn't matter. But here, neither here nor there. Back to Ironheart. He told me how excited he was and that he's rooting for it. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is watching this show. I think Robert Downey Jr. has so many other things going on in his life. He's not going to sit down and watch this show. Remember a while ago, before the election, when so many Marvel actors were doing the down with democracy thing? That's insane. I'm telling you, people, we are blessed to live in the timeline that we live in right now. Because that was a hysterical flop of an idea from a bunch. I don't even know if they did it on their own though, because no one in Hollywood has an original thought in their head. They're all just paid to say whatever they have to keep the money rolling. So no, back to this again. I don't believe Robert Downey Jr. for a second believes in this show. Goes on to say, I literally got 2 thumbs up. It's really reassuring to know you're not embarrassed in Iron Man. You absolutely are. You are 100. You know what? As crazy as it sounds, I really don't even look at it as like an Iron Man embarrassment thing. It's just because it's kind of the same vein of Iron Man that she's building a suit from scraps and blah blah blah. But I mean, we had the kid from the third one. What what was the problem with that? That he showed up for Endgame. How imagine being Marvel and hiring this kid to show up and like, you know what? You're gonna be at the funeral. And when that scene happened, no one knew who he was. It's been years since Iron Man 3. And then it broke like, oh, that's the kid from Iron Man 3. It's like, oh wow, so we're gonna get him going forward. Obviously Tony Stark gave him a lab and he's gonna continue on with Iron Man, right? No, 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 no. Forget that. No payoff whatsoever. Brand new character. Yeah, what? I mean, obviously she was in the comic books, but it was like 9 issues and no one gave a shit about it. It was such a ridiculous idea of a comic book that it didn't sell. Then they're like, you know what? Wakanda Forever's coming out. We need more black people. I guess we'll just put her in it to make a vibranium detector, a material that you don't have access to, and you made it, I think, because your teacher told you couldn't do it. Yeah, when Stanley died, so did the company. Isn't it kind of crazy that everything since Stanley has died has been objectively terrible? Sure, every now and then we might get a, wow, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland here, but that movie was garbage in the end. That just every single thing they have done since this man's death has not been a remote payoff whatsoever. Now we got Ironheart coming out, and honestly, I don't know when it comes out. I am so out of the loop on Disney Plus releases because they don't matter at all. This show's going to come out. It's going to be terrible. It's going to get, obviously, review bombed, as Collider is definitely going to put out an article about saying, yes, yes, racist homophobes. I think there's going to be some trans characters in it and non binary ones. I read a thing saying that they're going to have these people in it. You're just building up the excuse of why the show's not going to be good. And you know it. And you know it. And you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Marvel saying, you know what? We are not going to make stuff for you, so you don't have to watch it, and I'll oblige them. I won't watch it. Maybe if I do, it's definitely just going to make a review about it, but just like Daredevil, I'm probably not going to stick around. I might stay for the first episode. I think it's like a 3 episode premiere, which obviously is not a good thing because when you give away episodes like that at the start, when you're going 3 episode premieres on a show that's maybe 8 episodes long, you're just saying we're trying to get this thing out as fast as possible. We're trying to get it out. We're trying to end this thing. And we're trying to inflate the numbers the first week by like, oh my God, look how many people watch this. Like the numbers are going to drop off immensely. Immensely. You're hoping people are going to stick around for 3 episodes, and they're probably not going to. But if you put all 3 episodes out at once, you have one giant number versus, okay, let's just say, 2 million people watched episode 1 and then 1 million watched episode 2. You see how devious that is? You don't really see a lot of other shows, well established, great shows, just saying, you know what, we're just going to give you 10 episodes to start off with. No, doesn't work like that. Doesn't work with the show. And we all know what's going to happen. This thing is going to fail miserably. It's going to be one of the grossest, idiotic ideas ever made. It's going to pander. It's going to shame you. Every time you watch the show, it's going to be an absolute lecture on black culture, lesbians, and everything else that we don't give a shit about that does not make a show good whatsoever. Let me know what you guys think about that.
Says thanks for the ring. In this corner of legends, I'm still a mate. They fly high while you're just trying to cling. Air Jordan's legacy forever in the screen. 23 on my back, a brand that's worldwide. Nobody's walking around in LeBron shoes with pride. From rookie to legend, I define a game. Your stats are cool, but I've got the fame.